Hey, I'm Stan Stalnaker at the Future Mobility Hub with Hub Culture here in COP28, beautiful Dubai. You know, there's a lot of talk here at COP about just transition. There's a lot of talk about how we get to equitable sustainability and a better future for all. One of the people that I know that's thinking about this most is Nelson Del Rio. He's the founder of Prosperity for the Commons. Welcome, Nelson.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Equitable sustainability is a concept that we talked about at the Biodiversity Hub in New York Climate Week earlier this year. Yeah. And we said that it was going to be a theme for the hub here in COP28. Can you help us understand a little bit about your work and what equitable sustainability means in the context of all of this talk about climate change?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, as we've kind of gone through the iterations over the last few decades of what it means to develop community, what does it mean to engage stakeholders, shareholders, and kind of that last bit, what are our KPIs and targets for impact? We haven't made that last step, which is what is the unified vision for deployment? And so when we are applying these great innovations on technology and great innovations around community engagement platforms, we haven't answered the question of what is the wealth implication of those projects. And so equitable sustainability isn't just about accomplishing good within the natural commons, but how do we make it cohesive with the human commons? And so that's what, when we say Prosperity of the Commons International, we mean that cohesiveness of the both commons.
So what are you guys actually specifically doing to drive that focus on both prosperity and the common good?
Yeah, so we do it through a few things: development projects, tech development, investments, but I would say what's been exciting me the most, and I find is the largest lever point, has been policy, education, and movement building, and really building out those frameworks.
Are you doing that mostly in the United States or outside?
Honestly, it's been mostly abroad, but we've actually brought back more of a focus domestically, just seeing that the same issues in a different way, but the fundamentals, the same issues that we're seeing abroad are also arising within our own domestic communities.
Because you guys are working kind of internationally, are you seeing the same issues arising in multiple places? And if so, what are the big issues for that?
Absolutely.
The obstacles, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, what we see as the largest kind of continuity points are the lack of vertical integration of sustainability approaches. So let's give an example, as we're all passionate about oceans. If we talk about the coral reefs, we can't really do a project around rehabilitation of a coral reef without addressing the waste treatment facility, because otherwise you leak nitrates into the water and it kills the very coral reefs you just fixed.
Yeah.
The other aspect is you can't address the waste treatment facility without addressing the VMT factors or the energy supply systems. And so because of that, because we're not vertically integrating those sustainability approaches, we lack a cohesive community development plan, right?
Yeah.
And then
wow.
Our
so are you guys trying to go all the way upstream on that, or are you kind of trying to work all the way through the stream?
I'd say we're going up all the way through a silo and then de-siloing to bring all silos together, and that's kind of where, if we want a cohesive vision for our community, you have to de-silo those sectors. Our other focus is inequity and lack of access to resource or unaffordability. Mm-hmm. And so those fall in a few points. They fall on the quality of the development that is put out. It falls on the business models that are applying these resources, and so that's the unaffordability aspect. The other one is the wealth consolidation aspect, and so we see that whether you're in the Middle East, Africa, Los Angeles, anywhere, the wealth consolidation crisis is further expanding and accelerating. And that's why when we talk about the crisis that we have, that is a crisis of the human commons. And so how can the human commons be in balance with the natural commons when we ourselves aren't allowing them to live healthy lives?
Yeah, I've been saying for a while that we need a mathematically superior model to this wealth consolidation for it to actually work. Because as the world becomes more technological and in a way more algorithmic, it's sort of like may the best algorithm win. And I know that what I've been hoping and searching for is the idea of like mathematical algorithms that can distribute. Okay, so Nelson, what are the kind of mechanisms that you see for helping to provide this growth of equitable sustainability versus inequitable sustainability?
Yeah.
Have you found in your work around the world any methods that actually help improve the situation?
Absolutely. So I'd say it's a multifaceted approach. So you need to create innovative financial mechanisms. You have to create new governance models and ownership models. And then you need to create the policy mechanisms to incentivize the private sector to essentially push that out, because the governments aren't going to have all the capital. They're not going to have all the knowledge and capability to push it all the way. So creating those policy mechanisms of incentivization for that innovation around that is going to be necessary. The other end is going to be, we're going to have to craft and accept frameworks that redefine what it means to do human economic development. When we're here at COP, the whole point of COP is to come up with a cohesive vision or approach to address the sustainability or the climate crisis. But how can we address that without development? And if we don't answer what the models of development are around us and create the framings for that, then we're not going to be able to get there. And so the SDGs, for all the love that I have for them, they're not a framework for approach. They're a set of targets. They're a set of issues to address, correct?
Yeah.
But there isn't the framing for people to adopt to say this is the model of how we address it. So we're not cohesive. And that's why you either see the SEC having to clamp down on funds that aren't truly impact funds but call themselves impact funds, or you see many people addressing issues, but we're not collaborative and it's not cohesive, and it's also not truly impactful for stakeholders in the long run. Yeah.
Breaking down silos, working on equitable solutions. Thanks, Nelson. If you tune in to the Hub Culture Chronicles, you can find a more in-depth discussion on how to achieve better equity across sustainability with myself and Nelson. That's the Hub Culture Chronicles, signing off from here in Dubai.